Let's
Good
do
morning.
Yeah, hi,
this.
dear.
Hello, hello. Good morning. Yes, my name is Nigeria Chambers of Big O Belt Media. Emmy and Anthony. It's a pleasure to talk to you today about the new film, All Souls, which is coming to theaters December 8th. And before we even talk forward about the film, let's start off with last night because you had your world premiere in LA. How was it? How was the vibes? How was the reception? Talk me through the
Yeah.
event that I wish I got the invite to.
I wish we had the seats, we had to keep it to like a casting crew screening, but oh man, that feeling. I stood up to try and introduce the film, and I always chit chat with Anthony before an intro because he's the writer, of course. So he's just like, keep it short. I mean, you got this. And I stood there for about like I felt like 10 minutes just staring at the crowd because I was so grateful that we finally made it. The opportunity to watch your film on a big screen with the people who made it is why we do it.
Amazing, amazing. How about you, Anthony?
Yeah, it was a really fun night. Emmy's already laughing. I hung out for her introduction and then I popped out of the theater. I'm not one that really loves to be in the theater when a movie plays that I wrote. So
Really?
but I got to talk to the people after and see some cast and crew, and I had some family there and see the reception, and just super proud of Emmy for her first feature and the work we were able to do together. So it was a joyous night, and people seemed quite happy. So that was really nice to see.
Amazing, amazing. Yep, congratulations. And all roads leading to this point now of the film being released December 8th. We need to go back a little bit further. And when I say go back, I mean going back to where you two have teamed up in the past. We're talking about Hard Pack and Endings Incorporated, ultimately leading to the collaboration again. Could you talk about you two's friendship? How'd you meet? Sort of the trust you two have had in one another, and to ultimately determining it was the time to come out with a feature-length film.
Yeah, absolutely. So we met as both assistants in Hollywood. So I was working as an assistant to an agent at United Talent Agency. Um, Anthony was working for a big screenwriter, and we were just deep in it, big goals to both be, you know, filmmakers that had the amazing opportunity that felt so far off of making films.
Yeah.
And so we just sort of put our heads down and we would, scour articles and read books and always bring each other ideas and test them out with short films. So, short films started as a way to just sort of like test um, different ideas. Like, okay, I want to try something with more dialogue, or I want to try
Mhm.
something more visual, or I want to try something more action oriented. And eventually we made a short film called Endings that took it down the line to sell as a concept for a TV series that ended up not selling to a studio and then not getting picked up as a by a network.
Mhm.
So we still have that in our arsenal, but that was a really good test of our collaboration. And then we got the opportunity and a pitch to make my first feature, and Anthony killed it on the script, and um, it was a tight turnaround. They basically were greenlit the pitch in a meeting, and then COVID hit, and we looked at each other and we're like, oh, I guess we're not doing this. And they messaged us and they're like, nope, we still want to make it. Can you write it like ASAP? And yeah, so we just went for it, and I'm grateful we did, and
Yeah, let me get like a tad bit personal here. So what was happening in the group chat when y'all got that message? And no reason to be humble here. When you hear that they say, like, we want to invest in you, we want a feature-length film. I want to know what that bit of dialogue between the two of you were.
Do you want to go there or not go there, Emmy?
let's go there. It's
Okay,
real
so
life.
okay, I didn't know she was going to. We actually used to be married, and so we got that news while we were together, and it was super exciting that we got to make this film together. And We wrote it while we were still together.
Yeah.
We filmed it while we were separated, and we're releasing it when we're divorced. But we have this great, friendship, and we knew that it was this goal that we had together was always to make this feature film together. And so to be able to do that and for it to be coming out, we like last night, I was so proud of her and the work that we had done together because we set out to make a goal and I kept telling her we will make a feature film one day. And you go through those hard days where it's like you're getting a no, or we sell our TV show to Sony, but it doesn't get picked up by, it's like, is this ever going to happen? So to get through those days, we got through them and got the opportunity to do this. And we're so grateful we did and so grateful for our continued artistic, partnership.
Yeah, if no one said it yet, I'm proud of the two of you too.
Oh.
And I think just a testament to everything you go through, because splits could be a little bit difficult at times, but you all were able to turn that into something positive. And as a fan here and as a consumer of television and movies, I'm glad that you all was able to weather the storm of that, the pandemic, the doubts, to put out a banger of the film, which of course now we're going to have to talk about. Was there something you were going to add to that, Emmy?
No, well said. You're a pleasure to talk with.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, listen, I love the aesthetic of this film. First off, without a doubt, the casting up and down the board really brought it. Even folks with very minimal roles brought something interesting to it. But I think the first thing that jumped out to me was the aesthetic. I'm such a sucker for low light shots and the use of neons and those bold but yet vivid colors that really sort of tell a story is in its own. And then something that was a little interesting to me too was the score. There was particular sounds that kind of raised the hair on your back, kind of kept you looking over your shoulder, which I also thought really complimented a lot of different of the scenes too. So can you talk about sort of in terms of the directing approach? What were you were going for? Where was the shot at as well too? And ultimately sort of just that vibe you wanted to set.
Yeah, thank you so much. We have incredible collaborators on this film, but so we shot all around Los Angeles. And it's always interesting shooting in a city that we, in the industry know and see so much. So you're always kind of embracing parts of it and kind of fighting it and hiding it. And so we focused on the valley. So we call it Valley PD. It's kind of this mythic universe that we're building to represent, the greedy underbelly of a very, real life type of story that we just don't get to see, right? That's what a crime thriller is. And so I really just wanted to work with people that were kind of weird. Like Oliver Coates is this I feel like a savant composer, and I almost want to make a movie about him, but he just he's very into analog sounds, right? So he like records all these things analog, and he has his history is pretty varied too. He comes from basically scoring and working with Paul Thomas Anderson. So he works a lot with Johnny Greenwood, and he's kind of Radiohead's like secret weapon cellist. So like a dream, because I listen to, all of like, and for Anthony and I, we're both huge fans of Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor and especially their film scores. So to have somebody that's like worked alongside them and take his own genius into our project was really cool and really leaned into the like kind of oppressive hell that River goes through. Yeah. And then aesthetically, right, that comes down like aesthetics is everything in a film, because really what you're trying to do is create a mood and an emotional reaction in people. and to, you know, work with costume design, and then Sean Bagley, our cinematographer, and his lighting crew. We also really embrace the darkness, which, you know, the studio is always constantly asking me, like, hey, do you have any lighter images for press and for all this stuff? And I'm just like, we shot 20 days at night. We were in vampire hours the whole film. I was like, we didn't see the light, basically.
Yeah.
We saw sunset to sunrise, and the movie, you know, starts at sunset and goes to sunrise. So yeah, so, you know, there's a lot that went into it, and really embracing the grit of the city, and
Yeah.
yeah.
So coming to you, Anthony, but by writing this film, I think at some point you do the work and you talk to him. He said, okay, you know, this is what it's going to be, and at some point between this transaction is the matter of casting. When you write a character such as River, and even Jade as well too, where did you start to visualize these characters? And then Silas is a wild card because as a fan of G-Eazy's music, I guess I was digging deep saying, wait, has he acted before? Like where did he get these chops from? And again, as the writer, I can't imagine you saying you waking up one day and it's like Silas, yeah, that G-Eazy guy, he's gonna do this. Or like, where did you find Mia from? But ultimately, just I want to know, just when you was writing these characters, were there ever folks in mind? And then ultimately, when you seen the portrayal of these characters, what was sort of your thoughts or reactions to that?
Yeah, you know, it kind of depends. Sometimes when I write, I'll have a character in mind or a prototype for a role. Other times they're just kind of this amorphous, you know, thing in my head. And that was kind of the way it was for this one. And, you know, I'll just say in the writing of this one, it was part of the fun of this was the challenge. You know, we didn't have a huge budget. I knew we had to write something tight. I wanted to write something, we wanted to do something really contained one night. And so having those, I'm like, okay, here's my parameters. And I knew that going in. And so that was a fun challenge to write to that and use something all in one night, because I hadn't written a story like that before.
Yeah.
So that was really enjoyable. And then, you know, the casting part, we you know, got great options from people, and you know, when we saw Mia and her tapes, we just knew immediately, like, that's Jade. Like, she just had it, and she jumped off the screen, and we were, you know, both so excited about her. And then, you know, Mikey Madison, we were super excited to get her for River because we were already fans. We think she's so talented, and she was such a pro at everything she did, and just what she brought to the set. And yeah, and G-Eazy, you know, it was interesting. It was an opportunity that came our way, and you know, he was in that movie Hustlers. You know, had a cameo in that, and everything. But when we started thinking about it and looking at the character of Silas, it was like, oh, this could really work. Like, he fits
Yeah.
this character, and you know what he could bring in an attitude. And you know, I just want to say he was incredibly gracious on set. You know, just how he acted around. He was a total pro, and you know, showed up and worked and really cared about what he was doing, which was awesome to see, because you know, he's a big rap star, you know. And
Yeah.
so coming to our set and just being, you know, one amongst many, and coming in and putting his head down and working, was really cool to see, and we couldn't, you know, appreciate it more.
I
Yeah.
do. I do got like a few extra questions. I'm not sure if we're coming up on our time, but I do have to quickly ask. Listen, Jay flicking the bird just really did it for me. What was that discussed? What was the reaction? What did her parents think on that note too? It was literally one of the funniest parts of the movie.
Yeah, I don't think they had a problem. I mean, Mia's parents are great. They actually flew in from Texas last night to go to the screening, which was really cool, and Mia was so excited. But yeah, I think, yeah, I just wrote that. It just seemed like that would what this character would do at this moment, and
Yeah.
we thought it was funny, and yeah, it's kind of a nice moment of you know, kind of let the pressure out a little bit after a very stressful lead up to that moment, you know.
Yeah. Kim Kardashian kids are doing it right now. So apparently this is in.
Yeah. I mean, there's just a reverence, and especially if you grow up with a young parent, you're seeing things that you grow up fast, you become like
Yeah.
friends with your parents, you pick up the F word and fun habits like flicking cops off.
Yeah. All right, so let me end off with one question. It's actually two questions, but one to you each, and then we'll end it there. The first thing for you, Emmy, is I want to talk about the theme of this film because to me it picked up. It really was about a mother and just how far she was willing to protect and keep her daughter. So I would like if you can sort of describe what the theme of the film is, or was I along the right track there? And then for you, Anthony, the final question is the title "All Souls." How did you land on this? Now, logistically, it's a smart thing. You start a movie with an A, it comes up on the search very easy. I learned that from somebody a while ago.
I
So I
didn't
was
even
like,
think
okay.
about that, but good on us for that one.
But yeah, for my final two questions each for you there. How did we land on the title here? And for you, the theme of the film.
Incredible. So, I always knew for my first film, I wanted to explore uh, that like resilience that gets passed on between a single parent and their child. Growing up with my mother, she's just like the biggest badass I know. And also my best friend. So there's a very unique relationship there. And so I wanted to explore that in a genre setting.
Yeah.
And so my mother actually was like a good resource for us when we were looking at like, okay, like after this long night of the soul, how would they interact with each other? And a big conversation that we talked about a lot was just like, no, these two, like, they laugh into the face of darkness. And so that's kind of the thematic approach is, throw roses into the abyss. And so I hope we fulfilled that, goal of ours. And actually my mom grew up in Tucson, Arizona. And in Tucson, there's this procession on November 2nd called All Souls Day. And All Souls is a day that people remember people they've lost. And so there's this sort of tension and setting of on that one night of All Souls, and then digging deeper into sort of all these different cast of characters connected on this one night. The monsters of the night and the mother, and so there's that connection with All Souls.
Amazing.
Yeah, put it better than I could have. So that was.
I stole it.
well, listen, I'm not going to sit here and lobby that you two need to get back together, but you do need to continue to work. So on that note, I truly appreciate both of your time today. Also, again, it's going to be available in theaters, folks, December 8th. Emmy and Anthony, we better be talking again very soon. So get back to work. You heard it here first.
Thank you so much. Lovely spending time with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Can't wait I would love to meet you. You're amazing in person.
We will make this happen. We will make
Okay.
this happen. Thank you
Thanks,
so much.
you're
Have
great.
a great day.
Bye-bye.
Okay. You
Thanks,
too.
Nazir.